Hey Arlington, what's up? My name's Zach Maxwell, and we are here today at the Arlington Life Shelter. Just one of the many buildings that's going to be affected by the new thoroughfare and development plan going through our council right now. I want to tell you guys exactly how the homeless shelter here is going to be affected. Then take what I tell you and ask yourself, is this morally the correct thing to be doing right now? First thing that I want to point out is that everything I'm telling you today is pulled directly from the hike and bike master plan going through our council right now. So let's actually start talking about how exactly the homeless shelter is going to be affected. If you'll follow me, I'm going to show. Originally, the sidewalks in Arlington had to be a minimum of 4 feet. If you turn to Chapter 6 of the hike and bike plan and look at 6-2, you'll see where it specifically says sidewalks shall have a new minimum of 5 feet. So we are essentially changing the rules here and at least extending all of our sidewalks by a foot. Let's take a look, shall we? So I've measured out 5 feet to determine whether or not these sidewalks met standards. The good news is that they do. The bad news is that that's not all. So now what's the bad news? If you turn to Chapter 6, page 4 of the Hike and Bike Development Plan, you'll see that there's a new standard and policy that will be put in place if this passes. It actually explicitly says residential sidewalks shall be a minimum of 5 feet in width. Sidewalks serving mixed use and commercial areas shall be a minimum of 8 feet. Let's remeasure, shall we? Uh-oh, Arlington, it looks like this sidewalk doesn't meet standards anymore with these new requirements. In fact, if you'll notice, it's lacking over a foot of the new required standards. But wait, there were parentheses next to that paragraph. It says here in parentheses that 12 feet to 15 feet is required in front of retail storefront. So this is the new standard, Arlington. If you can see exactly where my finger's at, you'll notice that this sidewalk doesn't meet standards at all anymore. So again, why are we here at the Arlington Homeless Shelter? If you've ever been by the homeless shelter at night, you'll notice that every single one of these parking spaces they have in front of their facility is filled up. Whether that be workers or somebody actually staying here, that's going to be one less parking space that this facility is allowed to have. Now let's go ahead and undercut this and just assume that this won't be considered a retail storefront. They're still going to need 8 feet of buffer area for their new sidewalks. Let's see if that'll affect their parking. Uh-oh. Looks like this one fails the test, Arlington. So why is all this important? I'm pointing out the homeless shelter because it affects people that simply don't have the money to supply for themselves. However, look at all the businesses up and down Division Street alone that are in similar situations. They will be put at the mercy of that new 15-foot regulation that will be required by passing both of these new plans. How will that affect this store up here that has parking all up and down their street? How will that affect the gas station over here, which has pumps going by? Hey, we found our first bicycle of the day. And he's not even riding a regular bicycle. He's riding a 3-wheel. So I do want to point out that there is a possible way that you could get out of having to do this. And it actually comes straight out of page 7, chapter 6 of the Hike and Bike Master Plan. If obstructions are within the path of a proposed sidewalk, the sidewalk width and placement may be adjusted to allow the obstruction to remain. So Arlington, if you want to keep your parking and you want to keep your grass and everything, all you got to say is it's an obstruction. I don't think many of us would argue the fact that installing a bike path is indeed a nice idea. But whenever it involves the government taking land away from private businesses and private landowners, just like the Arlington Homeless Shelter that supplies a place to sleep every night for people who don't have homes, is that okay? And whenever the government comes in and they take private land for the purpose of public use, that's eminent domain. It's not right, and we don't need it in Arlington. It would be a burden on not only businesses, but also organizations like the homeless shelter, who probably don't have big budgets to work with to accommodate bicycles. So citizens, I want to leave you with this final fact coming straight out of the Hike and Bike Plan. Chapter 2, page 13, directs your attention to a table. It explicitly says that this table summarizes the estimated daily bicycle trips in Arlington. In fact, the table indicates that over 28,000 bicycle trips occur in Arlington every day. So where are all the bicycles at? We were told that there were 28,000 bicycles on the streets every day. It's a beautiful day out here and I don't see a single bicycle in sight. We're in downtown Arlington where a majority of this is going to be affected. These businesses up and down the street are going to be losing their parking lots. They're going to be losing private land to accommodate the minority here. Again, where are all the bicycles at?